They won't teach you this in school, because if you truly understood how power works, how it silently controls relationships, business, politics, even love, you'd never look at the world the same way again. The most dangerous kind of power isn't loud. It doesn't scream or announce itself. It moves like smoke, unseen but suffocating. It's the kind of power that shifts empires without blood, manipulates entire rooms without words, and dismantles your influence before you realize what's been taken from you. In this video, you'll learn the 13 rules of invisible power, not the ones Machiavelli wrote down in The Prince, but the ones he lived by. The ones that stayed hidden in the shadows. The ones he only used when no one was watching. Watch till the end, because the final rule holds the key. Miss it, and none of the rest will work for you. Before we begin, subscribe to Philosophical Pulse and turn on notifications. If you find even one truth in what you're about to hear, leave a comment and share this with someone who needs to hear it. Let's begin. Rule 1. Master the language of silence. The most powerful individuals in history spoke less, not more. They knew that silence is never empty. It is full of answers. In a world addicted to noise, your silence becomes unsettling. Create space. It forces others to fill the void with assumptions, fear, admiration, or guilt. The one who speaks first reveals their intent. The one who waits holds the leverage. Machiavelli never trusted words. He used them as tools, but never as truth. Silence allows you to see who truly needs to speak, who reveals too much, who craves validation. It's in silence that secrets rise. But beware, this isn't passive silence. This is strategic restraint. You speak when it serves a purpose, when it adds weight. When you finally speak, your words carry gravity, not just sound. Think of power not as the loudest voice, but as the one everyone waits to hear. Now reflect. How often do you speak just to fill space? What would happen if you didn't? If this rule made you pause and think, write it down. Comment with Rule 1 activated if you've been guilty of speaking too soon. And make sure you're subscribed to Philosophical Pulse. We have 12 more truths to uncover, and Rule 13 will leave you questioning everything. Rule 2. Never reveal your full intentions. Those who show their entire hand rarely win. The moment people know exactly what you want, they begin planning how to stop you, redirect you, or use your desires against you. Machiavelli understood that power is protected by layers. Your goals should be disguised, fragmented, and cloaked in alternative motives. Give people a reason they can accept while concealing the one you truly serve. People will always seek certainty. If you offer them a believable story, they'll stop asking questions. Meanwhile, your real agenda unfolds, untouched and uncontested. Even in personal relationships, full honesty is rarely strategic. You must choose what to reveal when and to whom. Timing is everything. So is ambiguity. You're not deceiving. You're protecting the mission. And the mission always comes first. Never forget, if they can predict you, they can control you. So let them guess. Rule 3. Influence through presence, not force. Physical power is limited. Psychological presence, however, expands even when you're not in the room. True power lies in suggestion, in reputation, in the feeling people get when they hear your name. It's the power of association, the ripple effect of your actions and your silence. You don't always need to confront someone directly. You can dominate simply by existing in their calculations. Make your presence felt in their decisions, their conversations, their fears. Be the unseen pressure, the weight on the scale they can't remove. Force often invites resistance, but presence disarms. You become the gravity around which others orbit. This is how kings ruled without lifting swords, how thinkers won wars without leaving their homes, and how Machiavelli advised princes Remain present in absence. The most powerful are rarely seen, but they are always felt. Are you building your presence or just showing up? Comment below how this rule applies to your life. And if you haven't yet, subscribe to Philosophical Pulse so you never miss what the masses ignore. Rule 4 is about betrayal. Stay with me. Rule 4. Know who to betray and when. Betrayal isn't always immoral. Sometimes it's necessary. Machiavelli knew that loyalty to the wrong person, idea, or principle could destroy everything you've built. The world is filled with stories of those who remained loyal to sinking ships, who drowned in honor, rather than survived through strategy. To hold invisible power, you must know when to cut ties, change sides, or leave people behind. But not emotionally. Tactically. Timing is crucial. Early betrayal brands you a traitor. Too late, and you're buried in someone else's collapse. You're not abandoning your values. You're protecting your vision. Those who understand this rule rise in silence. Those who don't are remembered only as loyal fools. Ask yourself, are you loyal to power or to the illusion of it? Rule 5. Use absence as a weapon. You don't need to always be present to be powerful. In fact, your absence, strategically deployed, is one of the greatest tools of influence. When you're always available, your value drops. People stop noticing you, listening to you, and respecting your input. But when you remove yourself at the peak of interest, tension builds. Curiosity grows. Doubt creeps in. People begin to realize what your presence provided by experiencing the silence you left behind. Disappearing creates demand, causes discomfort. It forces others to reconsider what they took for granted. This is not about playing games. It's about understanding emotional economics. Scarcity creates value, and value sustains power. Use your absence wisely. Be rare. Be unpredictable. Make people earn your presence. Have you ever become too accessible? Did your absence ever teach someone your worth? Drop a comment and tell your story. Subscribe to Philosophical Pulse. You need to hear Rule 6. Because this next one will teach you how to extract control without ever appearing controlling. Rule 6. Extract control without ever appearing controlling. The most dangerous leaders are never called tyrants. The most dominant lovers are never called demanding. The most manipulative minds are never accused of manipulation. Why? Because they understood the art of guiding without grabbing. Machiavelli would often speak of invisible governance, a tactic used to shape the behavior of others while appearing neutral or even passive. You influence through suggestion, indirect praise, or strategic silence. You frame decisions in such a way that others believe they've made the choice, when in reality the outcome was always yours. The goal is not obedience. The goal is internalization. Make them believe your ideas were theirs. Make them crave your approval before they even realize they do. Power that feels like freedom is the most unshakable kind, because people will protect it, thinking they're protecting themselves. When you try to control directly, you invite rebellion. But when you control subtly, you create loyalty. Power that doesn't feel like power is the most dangerous of all. Can you recall a moment when you were influenced but only realized it later? Leave a comment. Let's unpack the strategy. And if you're still watching, subscribe to Philosophical Pulse. Rule 7 will test your ego. And if you're not ready to hear it, you're exactly who needs to. Rule 7. Let others shine while you pull the strings. One of the most subtle rules of invisible power is this. Do not seek the spotlight. Let others be the face. You be the force. Machiavelli warned about the dangers of excessive visibility. The higher you rise in public attention, the more exposed you become to envy, sabotage, and scrutiny. But the person who allows others to take credit while quietly orchestrating their success becomes irreplaceable. This rule applies everywhere: business, politics, even social circles. Be the one who introduces ideas in whispers. Let someone else present them in speeches. Be the architect, not the billboard. When people feel empowered in your presence, they remain loyal, because they believe you are the source of their elevation. This is how advisors outlast kings. How consultants build empires without ever owning the throne. Give away credit. Keep the control. Rule 8: master the art of delayed reaction. In every conflict, every insult, every threat, there is one who reacts first and one who wins. To hold invisible power, you must train yourself to delay your response. When you react instantly, emotionally, you hand over control. You show that you can be provoked, that your internal world is unstable, ungoverned. Machiavelli wrote about rulers who destroyed themselves because of wounded pride, because they couldn't wait, because they needed vengeance now. But those who delay, who process, calculate, and return later strike harder, and almost always more permanently. Sometimes the most powerful response is no response, and sometimes the punishment is not delivered when expected, but when it can't be traced back. Every second you delay your reaction, you grow more dangerous, more deliberate, more unpredictable. Patience is not weakness. It's camouflage for a strike they'll never see coming. Have you ever ruined your own leverage by reacting too quickly? Tell us in the comments. It's where the real learning happens. And don't forget to subscribe to Philosophical Pulse. Rule 9 is coming, and it might change how you view all your friendships. Rule 9. Keep one hand hidden, even from your allies. Even those closest to you, especially those closest to you, must never know everything. Machiavelli understood that loyalty is a currency that depreciates under too much familiarity. The more people know about your methods, your plans, your weaknesses, the more leverage they accumulate over you. You may trust their heart today, but what about tomorrow? What about when power shifts? What about when survival requires betrayal? True power requires compartmentalization. One version of you for the public, one for allies, and one that no one ever sees. This isn't deception, it's defense. Never forget, today's ally could be tomorrow's adversary, and the only security you have is the information you withhold. This rule is not about paranoia, it's about structure, about understanding that control is a layered game. And the final layer must remain yours alone. We've reached the halfway point. If you're still here, you're not like most people. Most people never make it past Rule 4. Leave a comment right now with halfway through the truth, if you're committed to mastering all 13 rules. And share this video with someone who plays checkers while you're learning chess. Subscribe to Philosophical Pulse. Rule 10 is where things turn darker. Don't skip. Rule 10. Weaponize predictability in others, not yourself. Power lies not in controlling every variable, but in knowing which ones never change. Most people operate on habit, emotion, and validation. They're predictable, and that makes them programmable. Machiavelli believed that if you could anticipate a man's next move, you already owned the outcome. Your job is to observe, to test, and to study behavior, not with judgment but with precision. What makes him anxious? What makes her over-explain? What weakness do they always deny? Find it, exploit it, make it dance, but never let them do the same to you, because once you become predictable, you become manageable. And once you're manageable, you're no longer a threat. So stay inconsistent. Not erratic, but unreadable. Let your intentions zigzag. Let your moods mislead. Make your pattern look like chaos. While behind the curtain, everything moves with design. How often do people correctly predict your next move? Have you been too consistent in ways that cost you leverage? Share your thoughts below. And if you've made it this far, you know what to do. Subscribe to Philosophical Pulse. The The next rule is one Machiavelli whispered to rulers but never wrote on paper. You're about to understand why. Rule 11. Protect your shadow more than your image. Everyone obsesses over their public image. They polish their words, curate their smiles. But power isn't in the image, it's in the shadow. The part of you that never seeks applause. The part no one dares to question. Machiavelli believed that every ruler must have a private doctrine, personal code, a system of internal rules that governs how they truly operate, even when no one is watching. That's your shadow. The more you show the world, the more they believe they understand you. But the real power lies in what you protect. The principles you never speak of. The boundaries you never explain. The strategies no one gets to see. Your image can be copied. Your words can be repeated. But your shadow? That's untouchable unless you expose it. Guard it. Because the more people know, the less they respect. Rule 12. Train yourself to walk alone. The higher you rise, the thinner the air. Machiavelli wrote for rulers, not followers. And the truth is, if you need constant affirmation, companionship, or validation, you will never last at the top. Invisible power demands inner solitude. You must be able to think in isolation, decide without applause, endure without comfort. This doesn't mean becoming emotionally numb. It means becoming emotionally independent. Train yourself to walk without needing to be understood, to be misjudged and stay silent, to win without celebration. Because the moment you rely on others to keep walking, you stop owning your steps. Solitude isn't a punishment. It's a filtration system. And only through it can you hear the voice that matters most, your own. Have you ever grown stronger in isolation? Did walking alone reveal who you really were? Let the comments be your mirror. And if you're still here, prove it. Subscribe to Philosophical Pulse, you've earned it. We've arrived at Rule 13. Stay with me. This is the rule that ties them all together. Rule 13. Never chase power. Attract it by becoming irreplaceable. The final rule is this. Power doesn't come to those who want it the most. It comes to those who make themselves necessary. Machiavelli understood that power is not seized. It is surrendered to those who cannot be replaced. The man who begs for position is passed over. The woman who manipulates for attention is discarded. But the one who becomes the source, the rare solution, the only voice of clarity, the foundation others build on, will be needed. Not liked, not admired, needed. And when people need you, they will forgive your silence, your absence, your cruelty. They will justify your decisions. They will protect your reputation even from yourself. This is the final transformation. Don't become someone who takes power. Become someone power can't move without. The one who doesn't chase power, but becomes the kind of force that power depends on, never loses it. You made it to the end. That already separates you from 95% of people who would have skipped, scrolled, or clicked away the moment it got uncomfortable. But the truth isn't for everyone. It's for those who are ready to stop reacting to the world and start reshaping it. Comment "I see now" if these 13 rules shifted something in your mindset. Let's talk about it. Let's challenge each other. Because that's how the few evolve. And if you haven't subscribed to Philosophical Pulse, now is the time. This isn't entertainment. This is preparation. Share this with someone you want to sharpen. And remember, if you missed even one rule, go back. The message only makes sense after you've seen it all. Skip nothing. Because as Machiavelli said, "He who builds on the people builds on mud, but he who builds on understanding builds on stone." Before you go, this channel, Philosophical Pulse, is not for passive minds. It's for those who want to see the world as it is, not as they've been told. We explore power, human nature, control, silence, and strategy, using timeless philosophical ideas, sharpened for modern survival. If this video spoke to something in you, then you're exactly who this channel was built for. Check out our other deep dive videos like Why Being Moral is Making You Weak, Machiavelli's Hidden Truth, 3 Emotions You Must Kill to Gain Power, How to Read Anyone Instantly, Machiavelli's 14 Psychological Tactics. Each one is crafted to shift how you move, how you think, and how you hold power in silence. And I want to hear from you. What do you want to see next? A video on the power of strategic cruelty? Or maybe the 9 tactics of psychological defense no one talks about? Drop your suggestions in the comments. I read every one. Until next time, watch wisely, move quietly, and think like no one is watching. This is Philosophical Pulse.